great? Welcome back to yet another live stream. Yeah, I'm very excited that I'm doing this live stream over and over again. I just feel like I should go pick my water bottle, you know? Yeah, because when these conversations start kicking in, it is going to be wild. Let me just pick my water bottle real quick uh, so that we can start today's live stream. I'm very excited for this one. As you have seen from the thumbnail to the title of the video, we are actually going to be discussing the culture shocks. You guys know I've done culture shocks videos for a very long time. That is no exception since the first time I traveled to Nairobi. And I believe this is gonna be the last culture shock. I don't know why, but I just feel like this is gonna be the last one because I just feel like now I've compiled everything I've learned in the no, not everything I've learned, but everything I've actually been shocked with in the last few months. So I have everything actually, summarized up, and we're gonna be just diving into the conversation. And before I dive any further, and this is the first time you're watching a video from me, hi there, I'm Tanya, Ugandan content creator currently in Uganda. Feel free to subscribe, like, comment, and share out with friends and family. Yeah, we are starting off strong. I just went to pick my water bottle. Actually, I got this water bottle from Garden City Mall. That is along Thika Road. Yeah, I looked for this thing for a very long time here in Kampala, Uganda. I wouldn't get it, and when I saw them while I was in Nairobi, I said I've wanted it for a very long time. It was about 700 bob, around 500 bob, 500 bob. Yeah, around 500 bob. I said I'll pick it. There was a period of time I looked for them seriously. The reason why I usually would like to take my water in such glass bottles, plastic bottles, they have a lot of issues. Just go do your research. Go do your research. But regardless, I hope you guys are great. Today, I just know that the live stream is gonna be somehow long, so just have on your seatbelt in case you are quite sleepy. It's okay. Just leave me a like. You'll come back watch this. Because I'm gonna be going through almost everything. I just hope that Ugandan electricity doesn't change itself on me, or the internet doesn't disorganize myself. Yeah. Oh, Mark is here. Hi, Tanya. Is there a Nyama place that you would suggest? Oh, in Nairobi, Mark. Are you staying in Nairobi? I had to get off my ring. So this ring, let me just tell you this before I can tell you where you can get Nyama choma. So this ring, I got it in Kampala immediately when we came back from Nairobi. So I told you already about my American friends, Nef and Hezia. So when we came back, we said we were gonna buy matching things. So we went to a place here in Kampala, Uganda, that has a lot of curio shops. What Kenyans call curio shops. So we are like, let's buy matching rings that resemble. But since now in Uganda we are living more in African traditional kind of society, whenever people see me with this ring, they say, "Are you wearing a ring with snake heads and all that?" And I'm like, oh my god. But regardless, I'll just get it off. Yeah. So Mark, the place that you can get amazing nyama choma in Nairobi, I think it is Ashaki Grill, Roysambu. Yeah, Ashaki Grill. I think any nyama choma any place where they sell nyama choma is pretty okay, but I had good nyama choma at Ashaki Grill, Roysambu. Yeah. Roysambu Ashaki Grill. That is the place that I had the nyama choma. It was really so good. I think it was about, they gave us the thigh because we are like four of us, me, Hezia, Nef, and the friend we are with that day, that she was hosting us around in Nairobi and taking us around. So they gave us a whole thigh. They also gave us around the ribs, something like that. But they had amazing nyama choma, amazing nyama choma. Yeah, I would recommend that Ashaki Grill. But in case I have Kenyans in the comment section below, advise my friend where they can have nyama choma, amazing nyama choma, while they're in Nairobi. But I had amazing one at Ashaki Grill, and it was not so expensive because I believe that we also ordered a couple of or a lot of food, especially when it comes to Kenyan food. Githeri, we ordered chapati, we ordered kachumbari, we ordered there is that green kind of mixture which has a little bit of maize grains. Ashaki grill. It's Ashaki grill. Ashaki grill. Ashaki grill. So we had a lot of food, but I think it never went even up to 3,500 Kenyan shillings. It was about 3,000, 3,500 Kenyan shillings, and we were like four of us, and with drinks included. So I'm pretty sure that you'll get also good deals when you visit them. I know of another place, it is in Parklands, but comparing it to Ashaki Grill, I think Ashaki Grill wins. They have secure parking. They're in a place with a lot of people security wise, and yeah, it was an amazing place. Yeah. Yeah, Mark. So, in case you have any other question, leave it in the comment section below. Jonathan Muthuri just said, "Hi Tanya, Kamakiski along Eastern Bypass." Now, Mark, I think you are in the live stream, eh? Oh, yeah, Ashaki Grill, just retyped it. But Jonathan just said that, "Hi Tanya, Kamaksk along Eastern Bypass has amazing nyama choma." I haven't been there. I haven't been there, Jonathan. Eh? Yeah, I haven't been there. Hopefully, the next time I come around, I'll have to taste out the nyama choma. Yeah, but also Mark, since you are still in Nairobi, Mark is a friend of mine. I met him before I came back to Uganda. You can still travel to where Jonathan is recommending. Jonathan is also a good friend. And Jotham, oh, okay. Sorry, I heard that Ugandans, we have a very bad habit of butchering names. So I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. Jonathan. Jotham. Mark. Jotham just said that you can go test out that nyama choma along the Eastern Bypass. Um, yeah, test both of them and let me know. You'll send me a message, you'll send me a message and let me know, because I'll be there on the I'll be leaving Kampala on the 27th of November, so probably I'll be there on the 28th of November, back in Nairobi, so probably when I'm there, then you can be just take me around and, show me. But I'm just recommended another place where we can visit and have nyama choma. Yeah. What else? There is also a nyama. I don't think it's a nyama choma, but it's there is a kind of meat that they burn along the streets. I don't know I don't remember its name very well, but it is soft meat. I don't know what it is its name. Jotham, if you know the name of that meat, they burn it along the streets. It's on those different sticks, but it's not nyama choma. They told me that it is that soft meat of I don't know, but it is something like that. But it also tastes amazing. In case they can also give that to Mark, he can also taste it and let us know, or let me know, how you did find it. Yeah. So, as you have seen from, oh yeah, now Jotham is a Kenyan. Jotham, you are Kenyan. How I wish I would meet you. Most of the time, whenever I create relationships with people, and for example, reading my mind and reminding me something like that, most of the time I just feel like how I hope I can meet this person. But thank you so much. It is called mushkaki. It is called mushkaki. I remember very well the day Gabriel was my first host when I traveled to Nairobi, Kenya. He was my soft landing. I remember the day he took me to taste mushkaki. I was like, what is this kind of soft meat? It was soft, it was tender, it was not hard, it was in the middle, you know. Yeah, thank you very much, Jotham. You are a real Kenyan. You are a real Kenyan, because the way how that thing rolled out of your brain and text it onto the screen. Mushkaki. Yeah, mushkaki. So I think, Mark, you are taking notes. It is called mushkaki. Yeah, mushkaki. It's a soft, tender kind of meat. I think by the street side, I don't recommend a lot of street foods, because my stomach, I don't trust it very well. I usually have very, very furious diarrhea, especially when I taste anything. Streets are not clean. But in case you can get it I think at Ashaki Grill, I didn't have any issue. And also Nef, a friend I was with that day, she also has a tender stomach. She didn't have any issues. But I hope that they can also have that at that particular junction. You can taste it. But I believe that it is, oh, not believe, but I see it basically, a lot along the streets. Yeah. But regardless, in case you have any other question, please don't hesitate, leave it for me on the screen. As I told you, today we are discussing the culture shock. It's a lot. Yeah, Mark is taking notes. Yeah, take notes. By the way, before I can continue, my Instagram page has been bombarded by runners. Oh my God. Runners in Kenya, runners in Uganda. I've seen a couple of Ugandan runners, people who are interested in marathons. like traveling to Eldoret, traveling via Busia border here in Uganda. Like a couple of them, my Instagram page, they're recording all these people who are running, who are going to run the marathon. I think it is tomorrow. Tomorrow, or was it today? And I'm like, oh, Mark was telling me about the marathon. There's also another group in Nairobi. It's called We Run Nairobi. I was unable to join them because while I was packing for my trip to Nairobi, I didn't put in anything running, anything light for me to be able to do that. And Nairobi has some amazing shops when it comes to shops that sell running wear, like shoes and all that, but they're expensive and I was not ready for the budget. So every Sunday, every Saturday, you guys, we are running. We run Nairobi. Like it's a running club. Every Sunday, every Saturday that these people we are running, I was seeing that the Instagram kind of, pics that they are going to run and reminders. But since I didn't have anything to, I just used to just pass, let it slide. But this time around, hopefully, when I come in November, as I told you, I might have to shop around, start running a little bit, just be acquainted and all that. But regardless, I just wanted to say that because I know Mark, he told me about running, and I saw a couple of people traveling back they are going to Nairobi to run specifically. Just said that try Quiver opposite Garden City as well. The Nyama Choma is yummy. I miss it. 254. Okay, Mark, I think you are taking notes. All these particular places. Now, Mark, take for me notes. Then you'll just send them to me on my WhatsApp so that when I come around, I can be able to come test meat from all these particular places. And I'll send a message to Jotham. Yeah, I'll make sure I send a message to you. Whenever I go there, I'll take pictures, make sure that I send you the pictures, and also make sure that I rate those nyama chomas. Yeah. But what I was trying to say also is that the reason why I was talking about running and all that is that I've been seeing a lot of people traveling from Uganda to Nairobi Eldoret because of the running kind of group. So I wish you guys the best, especially people who are going to be running. I don't know if I should say this, but let me just say it. I'm almost 28, but I look like I'm 23, 24. And I don't know. I just feel like sometimes it feels yeah, we will have a list for you. Okay, thank you very much, Mark. So what I was trying to say is this. I feel okay, I look a little bit much younger, and I don't know if it's a good thing or it's a bad thing, but I just feel like people don't respect me enough because I look a little bit much younger. I don't know. I just feel like maybe becoming 30 years will do me justice. Maybe have a little bit much more beard. Maybe have a little bit straighter face. And the reason why I'm saying so is that, for example, when it comes to some of these activities like running and reading, and sometimes I just feel like people underestimate me because of the way how I look. And that has also been quite a challenge for me, for example, to join such running clubs or to be able to join the gym and work out. It just feels like I don't know, but that is me in my feelings anyway. That is how I feel like anyway. But I just even when I was in Nairobi, a lot of people can't believe it that actually I'm almost 28. Some people can't believe it, but and a lot of things go unnoticed. I can see some people look at you in a particular way, either you're lying to them or maybe you're not worthy of a particular something, or even a slight gesture at the restaurant, at the hotel, you can see, it just feels like I don't know, but that is me, just being me anyway. But I just wanted to share that. But otherwise, today, as we said that we might be live for a very long time, so in case you get tired on the live, I know a couple of you guys tomorrow it's Sunday. You might have to attend church. Tomorrow I'm not attending church. Unfortunately, I have to be going to work. Now, I have a lot of conversations to tell you. So I'm a VMMC nurse, you guys know, and I've been privileged to make amazing friends, even here back in Uganda. So I quit my government job. I was working for the KCCA, Kampala City Council Authority, back in June. And when I quit it, it was a lot. I love my job, no worries, no queries. But time came, and I was talking with Mark about this. Time just comes and you feel empty. You can work so hard. You can love your job. Nursing is a calling. It's not a job. And you can love onto the patient. You can do everything for the patient. You can literally see your life deteriorating in the moment, making sure that you look at this person as a whole, provide the hospice, not hospice, God, provide all the different levels of health to them, socially, spiritually, health wise, physically, do everything for this person. But you just feel like sometimes it is really, really overpowering, or it is a lot. But regardless, what I'm trying to say is that within that period of time, I made a couple of friends. And when I told my friend, one of my friend has a medical center, when I told him I was coming back to Kampala just for a few weeks before I travel to Kigali and probably go back to Nairobi, he was like, "Oh, Tanya, I can give you a few shifts. Come in, I'll give you a few days. Come in." Actually, he wanted to give me more days, but I was like, no, I just need a few days because I'm still also resting. But you can come in, work, then get more money to be able to go, make better videos wherever you are going. So I was like, oh God, that's amazing. So tomorrow, Sunday, I'll not be going to church or whatever. I'll just be going to that job. I used to do that job as a VMMC nurse. Holistic. Yo, yeah. Mark, I like you more. Oh God, you're following the conversation. You're following the conversation closely. I'd like that. Asante sana. So I'm trying to say this. He told me you can come in on Wednesday. For the weeks you are going to be in Kampala, you can come in on Wednesdays, on Friday, on Wednesdays and Sundays. And he was also trying to give me a Tuesday to just clock in and work. And he pays me some good money. And he actually gives me some good money. And mind you, this is a person I just met this year. He's a clinical officer, medical clinical officer. He has been in practice for the last, I don't know, 5 years. He has his own private kind of practice. I met him through a mutual friend. The period of time I used to work at a fire station, like the main fire station here in Kampala, Uganda, that is responsible for making sure that if fire, comes up in a particular place, the emergency team, they call in. So I used to work there as a VMMC nurse. So they have a health center. So I used to work there. So I met him through a mutual friend because he needed a person, a VMMC nurse, to cover some shifts at his medical center. So that's how I met him. So the few weeks that I've been here in Kampala, Uganda, even up to this week, I'm practicing at his hospital. I go there to work as a VMMC nurse, provide VMMC services, and a little bit of drug administration. Nurses, what we do basically. We are the right arm of the doctors, right arm of the prescribers, right arm of whoever. So I just go in. Last Sunday I was able to help a mother deliver. In nursing now, I don't know the nursing in Nairobi, but in Uganda we do like nursing as a course. It really encompasses a lot of different things: maternity, pediatrics. There is palliative care, anatomy and physiology, pharmacy 1, pharmacy 2. There is surgery 1, surgery 2. There is health science management. There is computer and ICT. So there are a couple of different things. So this last Sunday, I helped a mother give birth because I knew how to deliver a baby, and that was amazing. I've not done that in years, believe it or not. But I was so surprised on how my mind would just remember things and, palpation of the mother, measuring the diameter of the cervical dilation. All these things were flowing into my mind. And we delivered a very beautiful baby girl at 4:45 p.m. in the evening. And everything went well. The midwife who actually was supposed to be on duty, I think she had a day off, and the main clinical officer on duty was around, but less experience when it comes to delivery and maternity and obstetrics, things of a sort. And all my maternity just flew back into my mind. And as the midwife on duty, so I was doing, mother, push, make sure, check the dilations, make sure, don't push, wait for the, hey, how I wish you guys I would record that for you, but unfortunately I wouldn't. But yeah, that is the experience. See, that sometimes I want to tell you guys, life is moving, regardless of the hurdles that are going on in the world, but life is moving. So tomorrow I'll not be able to go to church. I'll just go to be able to attend my part-time job. We have a few clients already booked, babies and men who want VMMC services. So I'll just go there, provide that, and I'll be leaving quite late, unfortunately. But I know since the live is gonna be quite long, in case you are tired, please sleep. Yeah, I'll just leave this live up. By me, Ugandan time, it is actually 10:58, so that is quite late. Yeah, it is quite late, but I'll leave the live up in case you are still interested. You just come back and watch the live. Yeah. So I think I've been able to gist you very much on my life and what is going on. Before I dive into whatever we have to discuss today, maybe I'll also talk about a little bit about school. I'm still thinking about school so much, you guys. Like, that is, no, I'll not say a nightmare, but I've been reading a lot and centering myself a lot and stillness a lot and talked to a lot of you guys. I've talked to Jotham, I've talked to Mark, I've talked to a lot of you guys. Like, I'm mentioning those people because they're in the live stream. It's a lot, especially being a young guy who still needs a little bit of support from my father, especially education wise. He's a man who never went to school, and he's really, really enthused. He's really, really that man who really wants to see all his kids succeed. He's 50, no, he's 50, 49, 50. He's a 50-year-old man. And his wildest dream is to see me in school. And for him, his worry is that the longer it takes for me to go back to school, we don't know what will happen, not only to his finances, but also we don't know what is going to happen. So he wants me back in nursing school ASAP. That is it, I can say. And I've been just doing my research up and down and being still as much as I can and being still as much as I can. Oof, but it is hard. Really, really, it is hard to make this decision. It is really, really hard. He wants me back in school. Man, it is hard, just know, but amazing. And Mark, mind you, now this is the thing. Whenever I come to live stream, my mind just drifts away. But mind you, my last practical examinations, in nursing, like any other medical course, we usually have practical examinations. And when you look at my credentials and my transcript, the last semester, we had a practical, and the practical. Okay, the last semester of nursing school, that's where we did a lot of maternity, childbirth, delivery, first stage of labor, all those different things, obstetrics, all those different things. We did them in the last semester. That is year 3 of nursing school. In that practical examination, they brought for us that same question of delivering a mother. So you had to come in and deliver a mother on a dummy, having an examiner from the Ugandan Nurses and Midwives Council and a scorer and things of a sort. But my India was on ward, so I had done most of these different things. But it was indeed a honor. The mother was amazing. She was happy. She didn't have a lot of money, but at least she tipped me. And this is another thing I'm going to be talking about in these points we are going to discuss today. Uganda has come to a point where, regardless of the fact that Nairobi, Kenya, it's, in that particular stage of a lot of, Western influence, they don't have a lot of tipping. But Ugandans, these people can tip. This mother didn't have a lot of money, but at least he got 90 bob. Yeah, in Kenyan shillings, because I wanted to say in Kenyan shillings because a lot of my audience are Kenyan. 90 bob. And he said Musao. Musao means a healthcare worker in Luganda. Musao, thank you so much, Thank you so much. And yeah, it was amazing. And yeah, our baby is thriving. Unfortunately, now I don't know if I should say this or I should leave it, but regardless, unfortunately, we didn't have a couple of at-birth vaccines, so we had to refer them to a bigger health center facility. But the good thing, we got a special kind of car to drive them to a bigger health facility where the baby got the after-birth vaccines. We have a couple of vaccines we give. I think Jotham can, during the young age and, as the baby grows up because he's a pediatrician. Yeah. But regardless, that is it. Going back to the conversation I was saying about school. Yeah, that is it about school. I'm just still confused. I'm there. I'm just there. But all is well. For me, I believe in God. All is well. All is well. All will be well. I've just been moving on this mantra that says that good things are coming to me and the right answer will just surface up. BCG and polio. This is why I like talking to people with knowledge. I like you guys. Jotham, I like you. I love you so much. I love people who are on the same boat like me. Like, man, I like it. I like it so much. Thank you so much. It just feels amazing to just come in front of the camera and discuss such things. And you have people who are watching you. It's amazing. It's really, really amazing. And he really did mention it. So those are the vaccines. We had to refer them to a bigger health facility that she gets those vaccines. Some of them, not all of them. I think we had BCG, but we never had the polio. Yeah, I think so. And the mother had to get an injection on the thigh. So we did the basics because bigger health facilities, most of the time they really have a lot, and most of the time they are responsible to record any birth within medical centers within the region. So it was also better that we sent them there so that they can get extra kind of support. Yeah. So coming back to the point, I think that is it. Let's dive into the conversation for today. But just pray for me. Just pray for me, guys. Just pray for me. Pray for Tanya. Pray for Tanya. Because however much I love to go back to Nairobi, my dad is okay with me going back to Nairobi. He really likes it a lot. But for him, the issue is the longer it takes for me being out of school, we don't know what will happen tomorrow. He wants to see me accomplish more and more when he still has the capability to be able to pay my tuition, when he still has the capability to be able to stand with me, maybe work on YouTube, get a little bit of money, add it on my tuition, because the semesters are going to be 3 semesters. That is 1 year and a half. But he really, really wants me to be back in school. I was supposed to go back to school this year, January. I extended it to July. From July, I said now next year, September. It is not settling with him very well. It is not settling with him very, very well. So that is my situation. Yeah, that is my situation. That is my situation. Yeah. So now to the main conversation of today. Today we are talking about culture shocks in Nairobi, Kenya. Over the period of time, I've actually discussed these very many, like I've discussed culture shocks I don't know how many times, but this is gonna be the last time. Yeah, a couple of people who are going to be tuning in later are going to be like, "Oh, Tanya, you said culture shocks on the thumbnail, but you are discussing life update videos." But let's move on. Let's start with the speed and pace of life in Nairobi and in Kampala, guys. Uganda, the pace of life is quite slow, and I've mentioned this over and over again. People are just slow. We are just slow. Forget about me talking like this and acting up and giving you videos. That is not how Uganda is. Uganda is a place you come to when you want to retire. You know, my mom always says that. Now, this place, Uganda, it's a place that it's the best place to come and retire. As our president usually says, His Excellency, the president of Uganda, anyone can survive in Uganda because first year we are chilling. Like, as long as you have food, electricity, sleep, water, life is okay. People don't think out of the box. And that is our main biggest issue. Life is slow here in Kampala, Uganda. Believe it or not. Forget about people like me who have traveled to Nairobi. Now I've seen how the world moves, and I've seen technology, and I've seen the skyline of buildings, and I've seen professionalism. I've seen people with careers, and I've met people with bachelor's degrees and master's degrees in nursing. I've met people with big offices. I'm saying nursing because I'm a nurse, and I'm a nurse by calling, not by force, but I'm a nurse by calling. I love my profession so much. But I've seen people in Nairobi who are like, oh my God, we are sleeping back in Kampala, Uganda. And I'm saying this, and because I want also Ugandans watching this to try to travel out. We are living in a cocoon that we don't know what is happening in the world. As long as you have food, everything is okay. And that is why a lot of things will never change in Uganda. Uganda, for me, I anticipate that we have, and this is not coming from bad faith, but I believe that Nairobi is going to continue evolving. Tanzania will continue evolving. Rwanda, Kigali will, all those places are going to continue evolving. But because of the way how we are laid back in Uganda, a lot of a lot of trends will come and go without even moving a person here in Kampala, Uganda. Unfortunately, or fortunately enough. So Uganda is that for you. Now, comparing the same thing to Nairobi, Kenya, you guys, even just breathing in Kenya, it is fast-paced. Even just standing up in a Matatu, just standing up in an Uber, the Uber guy tells you it is high time you start paying me because I don't have parking anywhere in the city. Oh my good Lord. Even just buying, you are buying Vuzika rice, smoky smocha, whatever the case may be. Like, there is that pressure, and I don't want to say necessarily it's a bad pressure. It's a bad pressure to a particular extent because you can end up making a mistake, especially as a new person. But there is that pressure you just feel, even in talking, even in transactions, even in business, even moving, even in a Matatu. It is just pressure, moving on, like really, really, really very, very fast paced. And that calls for not only, I've told you, not only in business, but in transportation, but also in transactions, in maybe supermarkets. People just feel like they are going somewhere, they're like going to heaven, they're like missing a plane. Like, you can see, sometimes the first time I came to Nairobi, I'll just stand by the roads and I'm like, oh my good Lord. Just 2-3 minutes, they're okay, for the bus to stand still, People stand up and move out of the bus. Let me kid you not. Before even you reach the location, people are already standing up. In those matatus, there are these different things. You have to stand up and get on, hold on them, and then move with them. So you start moving like as the car moves, mind you. You start moving as the car move, until when you reach the entrance, the exit of the door. By the time the driver does like this on the brakes, people are moving out already. So there is that pressure, yeah, that it is really, really fast paced, very, very fast paced. The second thing I want to talk about, guys, it is the infrastructure. When it comparing to Kampala and Nairobi, I've talked about most of these points, but we want to just summarize them because we don't have to waste a lot of time when it comes to them. So I want to talk about the infrastructure. If you have been to Kampala, Uganda, you'll know that most of our roads are really, really old. Like most of the roads we have in the city center are quite old, and also they are just one-way or two-lane roads. For example, Entebbe Road, it would be like the main road right now around Kampala. That is the road that leads from the airport, like the old road that leads from the airport to the city center. It is the same road that in 2007, the Queen of England, by then, the Queen Elizabeth, who passed on, used when they came in for Chogam. It is the same road that Gaddafi, the president of Libya, used while they came in from the airport to Kampala. It is the same road that a lot of delegates have used over time. But let me kid you not, it is still a one lane. So one lane is going in, one lane is coming out. So I'm not saying this to degrade my country, but I just feel like things are just slow, even infrastructure. Now, for example, such a road that has brought in even all those delegates over a period of time. Why don't they, like, I don't want to go deep into this, but I want to just give my honest opinion. But most of the roads we have here, they were constructed during the Amin's regime, if I'm not mistaken. Amini's regime, Obote's regime, and the current president. Now, the good thing with our current president, he has really tried to make sure that most of the roads, I think those are triple A roads that lead into other countries, are really made, and that is very good, But within the city, within Kampala, most of our roads are old. Now, on contrast to Nairobi, Kenya, they have basically sleek. I love to just use the word sleek. Most of the roads, they look to be new. Most of the roads look to be a little bit sleek. Sleek. Most of them, they just look to be new. And that is basically the horizontal infrastructure. Most of their roads. I'm telling you, even the road they call old, I've seen the roads they call old within Nairobi CBD. Even it doesn't equate to the roads we have here, which we call old. Most of our roads are quite very, very old. And the city county government of Kampala, that is Kampala City Council Authority, they have really pleaded to make sure that they make those roads within the city center, especially within divisions. Now, you'll find that the city center of Kampala, our CBD, especially the central division, because remember that our city basically is divided into 5 divisions. So we have the city center. I was going to use the middle finger. We have the city center. We have now these other divisions. The city center is where everything is quite expensive. It is like your CBD, where you have the ambassador, where you have the archives building, and there are also these other kind of divisions. Now, those other divisions, it is really terrible. Yeah, I'm telling you, because I've lived here the whole of my entire life, and I'm back and I've been exploring these places, and I've already started making videos about them, but it is not good at all. We have the express highway, but it is not again as sleek as the express highway in Nairobi. And I mentioned this earlier on. Is it CRBC that built the same roads, or because we have a lot of red soil, something is not merging up, believe it or not. And I just hope that many people can visit and see that, especially those other divisions. Forget about these other people who come in and because when I was in Nairobi, I made it a point. I made it upon my point that I'm not going to only visit Kilimani, Kilelesha, Lavington, Kitisuru, Utawala Githunguri, Pipeline, visit all those places and not go to the places that are really, really badly off. While I was in Nairobi, I made a point that I went to Dandora. You guys never saw this video, and I didn't record. I just recorded a sneak peek. I went to Dandora. I went to Soweto. I went to Kayore. Now, if you're in Nairobi and you are Kenyan or a person who has lived in Kenya, you know a picture of these. Kayore, Dandore, most of the time, these are places with organized crime, a lot of mugging and theft and things of a sort. It is a slum, I went to all those places. I never recorded videos. Maybe I recorded a couple of them to just give me a broader picture. By the way, when you hear dogs, I'm in a fence with a lot of dogs. A lot of my neighbors up on these upper floors, they have dogs. So when you hear dogs, don't be surprised. And we are filming this video at night. What I'm trying to say, guys, is this. I went to all those places and I saw how life is there. But at least the roads that lead to those slums are made. But at least a few things, hospitals. Now, a good friend of mine, a Ugandan, also works in organizations of health and related stuff. I don't want to go deep into details, but she works in, health-wise organization, things of a sort. But she gave me an opportunity to explore. My dear, regardless of the fact that the housing and all that is so bad and everything is so bad, at least the roads that link into those places are not the worst. At least a couple of things are sorted compared to the kind of slums we have. I know here in Uganda, I know in I think Nairobi, Kenya has the biggest slum. Is it Soweto? No, Soweto in South Africa, I think it's the biggest slum, then maybe followed by the slums in Nairobi, and maybe slums in maybe Nigeria or things like that. But again, for us in our instance, people who come here, most of the time they don't really explore a lot. Most of where our slums are located, most of them, the roads are not made. They are living. I'm not saying that people in Dandora are living very well, but also people here are living times two very bad. Forget about having, because I went to Soweto, that is Jamhuri grounds, and it was evening time and I explored the whole of Soweto and I saw how people live there. But at least having a recreation place where people can go sit and, think, and that is already therapy, that is already therapy and a behavior kind of tick for them. We don't have such places even here. Yeah? And people who come here maybe come into the city center and they stay at Sheraton Hotel. They stay at, right now I'm seeing that we are going to have a J Marriott Hotel. They stay at those big hotels. There is nothing bad with it, but they don't tend to look deeper. And this is one thing I would advise every person there. Whenever you visit a place, you might not go there, but try to Google, Google, see what is the broader picture of people living here. Because even me while I was in Nairobi, I was like, oh, Tanya, I've gotten the best picture of Nairobi. Tetugani, I've gotten the best picture of Nairobi. But a person who's not educated, a person who didn't get a chance to even see Form 4 or advanced level or high school, and they are really not privileged, they have mental issues, how do they live? That is what prompted me to go deeper and explore most of these places, and hence the difference. Yeah, but going back to our point, most of the roads in the city center are made, but most of the roads outside are really not made. Then also you realize that in Nairobi they have a lot of express highways, like Thika Road, Super Highway, the main express highway. Now, most of these roads are PPP projects. And I learned this from Gabriel. Gabriel actually works in construction. I told you, Gabriel is a good friend of mine. I look at him actually in the phase of my father. My father is 49, 50. Gabriel is over, I think also around 40. So he explained to me a lot of different things. PPP projects are projects where there is donors come in, fund a particular project. Then after funding the project, they go in to solicit money over a period of time so that they can be able to get out the money they invested in building those projects in simplicity. I think I would explain it like that in simplicity. So in simplicity, that is it. They have very many roads in Nairobi that are PPP programs, and oh, someone is saying that profound living, only the expressway is PPP. Oh, okay, I didn't know that, but maybe I'll do more of research on that. Only one road. Oh, thank you so much. Many people are actually here correcting me. That's amazing. I learned that today. So let me ask you guys also. Does the Kenyan government, Kenha, supplement, like your budget, does it supplement building all those roads? What happens? Because according to what I've read, this is what I've read, because most of the time I also do read and articles and all that. But what I had read, that some of them now, for example, there is a road, I think it's going to Mount Summit. I heard that you guys are going to be paying 8 per kilometer. Per 1 kilometer, you're going to be paying 8 shillings, 8 Kenyan shillings or something like that. So how different is that from a PPP project? Then also I had the same thing with Talanta Stadium, that there is still a cocoon of billionaires who are partially funding the project of Talanta Stadium, but alongside the government of Kenya. So it's going to host a couple of, after AFCON, it will continuously host a lot of Oh, someone is saying the new road from Nairobi to Mount Summit would be a PPP. Yeah, I've read about that. Yeah. Now, this is why I read. And this is why I read. I've read about that. I read the whole article today. I was dozing, but I said, let me read about my country where I'm going to retire. Not retire, go work and stay. So I read about that. Yeah, hopefully. But I was trying to say that there is a cocoon of billionaires that are funding the Talanta Stadium. Remember that it's about 45 billion Kenyan shillings. 45 billion Kenyan shillings alongside the government of Kenya. But they are not saying, yeah, they are not saying, but they are saying that after the AFCON is done, according to what I've read, this is what I've read on different articles, when the AFCON is done, if people would love to go there, rent out the place for events, music kind of shows, things like that, they would pay a particular amount of money and would go back to those billionaires. Yeah. But thank you very much for the correction. I appreciate that. Also, I was telling Gabriel while I was traveling back from Nairobi to Nakuru, we didn't use the same route that we used to use while traveling back on the main highway, that is the Nairobi highway back to Uganda. We didn't use that because they had started constructing, I think, that road. So there is a point you reach and they just branches you off, like the road is not tarmacked, it's not made, and it is quite bumpy and all that. And Gabriel also told me that he just read about it. Yeah. So that is transportation for you guys. So a broader picture of people who are traveling here. You are going to be surprised who are traveling to Nairobi. Let's start from here. When you come here from a country that is more developed and all that, you might not like it because we don't have the best roads in here. But when you're traveling to Nairobi, Kenya, you'll be wowed, especially if you're Ugandan or coming from a country where there isn't amazing road and the skyline is not clear and things of a sort. Yeah. Now let's go to Matatu culture. I love Matatus. You guys saw the second last video I did post. I went to the Matatu stage with Gabriel a few months ago, and I was just mesmerized and just very happy. I learned about that. I did learn that the Kijana ya Ruto, correct me if I'm wrong, Kijana ya Ruto, the son of Ruto, is also in that business. But I was very mesmerized and looking at them. They are very flashy. They are very amazing. Okay, because I'm a youth, so I'm not saying this for a person who is slightly older than me. I'm a youth. My youth years, so I'm very, very attracted to flashy things. So I just stood there for a few minutes and I just looked at them, and they're enjoying life and they're living their dream and just living in the moment and being still and remembering how beautiful life can be when you choose to see it that way. Man, that was amazing. Those youth in Nairobi are enjoying matatus. They are enjoying matatus. Before I continue with this, someone just commented, said, only the express highway. The rest is government funded or more PPP projects, e.g. the Talanta Stadium, but still only the road is PPP built so far. More to come. Okay, thank you very much for the correction, profound living. Yeah, thank you very much for the correction. What I was trying to say is this. What I was trying to say is this. I was just standing there for a few minutes and just choosing to see life in a simplest way and seeing these boys and girls enjoying life, making sure that these buses jump up and down, how flashy it is, how amazing life can be when you choose to see it that way. It's amazing. It's literally amazing. I'm not a man who has dreamt that one day I'll have a lot of riches, like I want to be a billionaire. In case that comes, that's amazing, but I want to live a simple life. I want to live in a society where things can be simple, where things can be easy for me. And being in Nairobi and being on Rongai stage and the ambassador stage, but basically Rongai stage. Is it Rongai? Rongai stage. And seeing how these flashy matatus are, it really made me rethink about my life. It really made me rethink about how life can be, especially when you choose to see it in a very simple way. Life shouldn't be hard. Life should be simple. Life should be easy. And that is how God created Kenya, be in Nairobi, and I'm living here legally, and I can take these matatus whenever I want, and I'm not on pressure, and it was just amazing. But the point is this. Nairobi, they have a lot of flashy matatus. And let me start from Uganda before we come to Nairobi. In Uganda, we don't have matatus. We have buses. We call them buses. And buses, they take long journeys. Now, for example, traveling from Nairobi all the way to Nakuru, then you use a bus. You don't use a taxi. What you guys call shuttles. in Uganda city center, we basically use shuttles as our matatus, and we call them taxis. They usually don't have any music. They are not painted. They are literally white and blue, strips of white and blue, strips of white and blue everywhere, strips of white and blue. So I was really surprised, for the first time I came there, because I expected at least they have small taxis. They don't. They have those flashy matatus. But also I did learn that not every, as I told you, I'm still a youthy guy, almost 28. It doesn't make me to be, So I know older people, like my father, my mother, I don't think they will be interested in seeing I'm sitting in a matatu that is blasting music. So I got an opportunity to also sit in a couple of, buses, matatus, especially the ones of Nairobi. Are they called what? I'm forgetting, but I've spent here only a week and I'm already forgetting my Nairobi kind of life. But they are those buses that are blue and yellow. They are huge buses. For them, they usually don't have a lot of music. There are also other buses that don't have a lot of music. So older people or people who don't like a lot of music actually go sit in those. But youthy people in those ones. And maybe a shocker to a person visiting Uganda, don't expect to find matatus here. No, we don't have them. We have those small shuttles, what you guys call shuttles, and they're the ones that are going to take you throughout Kampala, all the divisions. If you're going to Nakawa, if you're going to Kampala city center, if you're going to Kawempe, Makerere University, you're going to all these different places, the Kabaka's Palace, all these places, you're going to use those small taxis. You don't find a bigger matatu. But the prices also of these matatus, unfortunately, they are not raised up like how it is in Nairobi. For us in Uganda, basically they have one poster like this. They just put on places. For example, people who are going along Entebbe Road, Entebbe Airport, Entebbe Kajansi, Entebbe Reza, all those different places. So they put them on that board. And basically, most of the time people know the prices. But again, feel free to ask in case you're in a taxi park and it's your first time traveling and you want to try them out. Feel free to ask out conductors. Ugandans are not the most kind of, non-hospitable people. They are quite hospitable and they will help you. But again, I will not guarantee you 100% because most of them are quite reserved. But try to ask one or two. The third one will help you, tell you the prices. And also, I've seen when I came back in Kampala this time around, I did see from the main tax park that they had started writing those prices. So I was quite happy that at least in Nairobi, they raised up those things with, for example, you are going to Utawala Githunguri and it is 80 bob. You are going to Paipu and it is maybe 80 bob. You are going to Kilimani and it's maybe 70 bob. You are going to wherever you are going, maybe you are going to Kiambu and it is 30 bob in the morning. So I did like that, especially here. Now, that will surprise you when you come to Kampala, Uganda. But again, when you go to Nairobi and a Ugandan or a person who has not been there before, you'll be surprised by the Matatu culture. There, it is bus system. Systems of buses. Buses are very many there. Left, when you look left, it's a bus, right? It's a bus, and they call them matatus. Yeah, so I think I've been able to explain that a lot and been able to give you a broader picture, especially for people who will be traveling in Nairobi for the first time, people will be traveling here for the first time in Kampala, Uganda. Yeah, now let me talk about, guys, border borders. And border borders, I want to talk about them because personally, when I'm in Uganda, since the first day I came back in Uganda, believe it or not, I only took the first taxi from Kampala to my parents' house. From my parents' house to my place, I took a border. So by that, I mean this. Kampala, we have very many borders. Oh my good Lord. It is not organized chaos. It is not anything. It is just failed chaos. We have very many borders and they are the cheapest option. You see that matatus are cheap not cheap, but affordable in Nairobi. Here, borders are affordable and taxis even tend to be a little bit higher. For some distances, not all distances, but for some distances. But borders are very many in Kampala, very many of them, and it is disorganized chaos, believe it or not. And they end up causing a lot of road traffic accidents. Now, comparing the same thing when it comes to Nairobi, I did realize that you guys didn't have a lot of borders, yeah. And also the borders that are there, they look to be in a very organized kind of chaos, They have their limits, their areas where they're not supposed to go. I didn't see them there. There are places they can go. You can see them there. And they have on their helmets and, they have on those green kind of traffic kind of vests. Not all of them, obviously, but at least I did see. But in Uganda, it's worse. it is worse. When you visit here, you will definitely see. In Uganda, it is worse when it comes to the borders. We have very many of them. And me moving to hospital where I work, the few days I've been working, moving around to city center. I went to Kampala to record for your video. I'll just show you around how Kampala looks. These few days I've been here. Just give you a broader picture. Boda back and forth on Entebbe Road, boda. So bodas here are very many, and they are quite affordable and cheaper compared to moving in a taxi. Taxis are also quite affordable, but most of the time, as a Kampalian, I calculate the amount of time I'm going to spend in traffic jam and all that. So most of the time, I just decide, you know what, boda. They will work for me. Also, there is this habit in Kampala of people having the boda guy. We call them your boda guy. For example, Mark, you can have your boda guy, Tanya. Anytime you want to travel, Tanya, come pick me up and my place, take me to the cafe. Tanya, come take this jerry can somewhere. I want drinking water. Tanya, go to what? Naivas, pick this and this. In Kampala, it is very common because the bodas are like this. So people usually have their boda guys, and they give them their number in case they need something. They just call them directly. Yeah. So I think I've been able to also, grasp on that pretty well. That was transportation. So for this culture shock video, I'm quite organized. I think you can see me. I'm quite very organized. So we first of all went for transportation. Now the second thing we want to talk about is food. In case you have any question, don't hesitate, leave it for me in the comment section below. And in case you are tired, please sleep. Yeah, please sleep. I don't want to keep you awake. Tomorrow is a Sunday. Prayers, I know, schedules. You'll find this live probably tomorrow when you are sober. So I don't want to keep you up when you are a little bit tired. Yeah. So we want to go to food. Food is the next point we want to talk about. And with food, I want to start with as the staple foods of both places. And I don't want to waste a lot of time on this because I know over time I've been able to explore food on a very, very many occasions. But in Kampala, our staple food is matoke. Matoke, steamed matoke. That is our staple food, and it is the queen of the day, meaning that we cook matoke in the morning for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, anytime, every time. We sleep in matoke. Now when you go to Nairobi, it is ugali. It is ugali, completely different. But this is the advice I would give you. When I came back home, mom saw me and someone is saying I have seen multiple videos of some imaginary roundabouts in Kampala where borders are crossing from every. Yeah, that is the absolute truth. Absolute truth. That is how people drive here. Borders are very many. The government of Uganda has tried, especially through the KCCA, Kampala City Council Authority. They have tried to make sure that they cut them down. They cut on their importation into the country. I'm telling you, boys, especially boys, they sell their land. You remember that in Uganda, parents have a habit of buying land for their kids. But boys sell their land to buy borders. Mind you, border right now, it's about 3.5 million Ugandan shillings. 3.5 million Ugandan shillings, about 100,000 Kenyan shillings, maybe around 1,000 USD. That is the price of a border. Here in Kampala, Uganda, a starting one that you can start on, but there are also those ones that are quite higher. So you can find one which is about 120,000 Kenyan shillings or about 1,500 USD. So they are not so expensive. So you see, in simplicity, I was also saying that when I came back home, going back to food, Mom saw me and told me that, oh, Tanya, you have cut weight. I didn't realize that for the period of time I was in Nairobi. I didn't realize that. But the first day I came, she told me, oh, Tanya, you have cut weight. Okay, I was like, okay. So the day I came back on Wednesday. So on Sunday, my friend had already told me, Tanya, come clock in work, get some money, because I know you need this money when you're traveling to Rwanda and wherever you'll be traveling to. The time you'll be here in Uganda, just make sure you come at the hospital work, So I went there and I tried to measure my weight. Oh my good Lord, I had reduced weight, I had cut weight. I won't say the exact weight, but I had cut some good weight. So, but this is what I'm trying to tell people traveling amongst our both countries, East African countries, Uganda and Kenya. When you come to Uganda and you don't like the matoke, and I know you'll not like it because it is not something you have grown up eating. As any other person coming, I was listening to Oprah and saying that when she traveled to South Africa and she wouldn't manage the food, she just told, the chef there to just make for her mashed potatoes and bread for the period of time she spent in South Africa. So the same thing when you come here. We have a lot of ugali. Don't like, don't just overshadow yourself because you don't want to eat matoke, but look out for alternative ways on how you can get ugali. In simplicity, ugali is quite affordable here. You can get it in the supermarket, you can make it for yourself. Yeah, simply that. And for Ugandans traveling to Kenya, the same thing. In case you're in a situation where you feel like you really, you look out for matoke. It's something I didn't do this time around, but I realized right now after measuring myself, and I had lost weight, and mom was like, "Oh, Tanya, where you are, it feels like you know." I was like, "Mama's okay. I'm very okay," and she knows that I snack a lot, and it's a very big argument between her and me. You see that I'm already an adult man. She knows that I don't eat, and that's a very big issue between me and her. But regardless, amongst the two countries, wherever you go, make sure you look out for alternatives. Don't just stay there, cut weight, and say that you are going to snack because you can't eat the food there. Look out for alternative ways to get food. Just make sure you look out for alternative ways to get the food that you really, really like, or you would consider to be amazing for you. Yeah, it's an advice I would give you. And in case you're in a situation that you really can't, you're in a situation that you can't support yourself to buy that food, just eat. If it is ugali, eat the ugali with one heart in peace. If it is matoke, eat the matoke with one heart in peace. Yeah. But regardless, Uganda, we have a lot of matoke, and it's our staple food, and it's the food we are going to find everywhere. Fathers in Nairobi eat matoke. Fathers here eat matoke, a full plate like this, a full plate of matoke, even without a single ugali. So I'm seeing 8 people in the chat. When you come into the building, please like the live stream. The like button is somewhere there. My name is Tanya, Ugandan content creator, VMM Finance, and it would be amazing to have you on this life journey, because this is gonna be a journey. I don't know where tomorrow we shall be, but this is a journey. I don't know, but this is a journey. Just follow me, subscribe to me, and let's move. Let's wing this thing called life. But regardless, that is it, guys. I think I've been able to talk about matoke pretty well and ugali, and I've given you options. Don't die of hunger. Don't die of hunger. Don't die of hunger. Eat matoke with one heart in case you are here and you don't have option. But again, there is ugali here. Make ugali for yourself. In case you're in Nairobi, look out for markets, Gikomba market, whatever. Buy matoke, eat, in case you don't want, to eat them you are on a tight budget, eat ugali. Ugali has never killed anyone. Matoke has never killed anyone. With time, you adapt. By the time I came back to Nairobi, from Nairobi to Kampala, I had adapted actually to eat ugali. And whenever I would talk to mom, she would tell me jokingly, "Oh, Tanya, you used not to like ugali, you used not to like posho. How is it going?" I'm telling her, "Oh, mom, I'm okay. Oh, mom, I'm okay. I'm adapting to it." Mind you, I did adapt to it. Like a few days ago, since I came back, I've not been eating ugali. But a few days ago, like 2 days ago, I said, "Oh God, I'm missing ugali." So I was at a restaurant out, and I'm like, "Oh, let me have ugali and maybe, fish stew and sweet potatoes and cassava," because that is the way how we plate food here. You don't just plate food with ugali only, but you put on sweet potatoes, yams, and all those other things. And it was amazing. I've started adapting to it. Yeah. So let's go to the next point, meat and proteins. I want to talk about this because I realized that it's a point we started with nyama choma, but I'm not going to waste a lot of time on it. Nairobi, Kenya, they really eat a lot of nyama choma, believe it or not. And they eat it at almost every function. Now, in Uganda, it's a mixture. I'm not saying in Uganda we don't have the nyama. We have, but it's a mixture of everything. You can have chicken, you can have beef, you can have goat meat, you can have sheep meat, you can have duck poultry meat, you can have geese meat, you can have turkey meat, beef. No, that's not beef. What am I saying? You can have the turkey meat. I don't know what it is called. English. The turkey meat. You can have all these different meats, and usually have them in forms of stews. So you cook the meat. You don't just burn it like how nyama choma is burnt, but you just cook meat, add in a lot of soup. So we usually eat a lot of soup here. It is very rare to plate a plate without soup. In Nairobi, it is quite normal to just have mboga, sukuma wiki, and ugali. Use your saliva as soup to make sure that this food is soft. But in Uganda, soup is something else. So you expect to have that at least. Yeah. So Nairobi, a lot of nyama choma. Uganda, nyama choma is not so much, but a lot of almost everything. People eat almost everything. Stews, everything, just everything that it is edible. When it comes to stew, you'll find it here. Today, for example, the household I grew up in, for example, on Mondays we would have meat. We just even call it meat, or nyama stew. On Tuesday we have groundnut stew. On Wednesday we have mushrooms. While I was in Nairobi, even I never saw mushroom stew anywhere. On Wednesday we have mushroom stew. Maybe on Thursday we have beans. Maybe on Friday maybe we have pilau and that is rice. Maybe we have pilau and duck meat. My dad really likes duck meat. Maybe on Saturday we go back to maybe beans. Maybe on Sunday we have the groundnut paste stew with dry fish. So that is the mixture. You're not going to find that these were eating nyama choma throughout. It is usually stews and all this, and matoke. Stews and matoke. Yeah. So in simplicity, I think that I've also been able to point a good light on that when it comes to meat. I really, really wanted to talk about that because I realize it's quite common in Nairobi. The next thing I want to talk about, guys, it is street food. In Nairobi, Kenya, they have a variety of street foods. I did do a video with Renson254, a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, by the right now. I'm surprised on how you can make a friend from the internet and they leave that level of being friendship and you see them in form of your brother, you see them in the form of your parent, your guardian, things like that. But I had a video on Renson's channel and he took me to taste vizikarai, fried Irish potato, smoky, mahindi choma, hindi shoma, like maize, burnt maize. They have mayai. They have what else? What else? What else? They have a couple of them, but those ones I can remember. So in Nairobi, Kenya, they have a variety. Sumbusas, they have a variety of street foods. In Uganda, we have street foods, but it's not a big thing. In Uganda here, plated food is quite common. Yeah, plated food is quite common. I was telling Renson that you see in Uganda, I grew up in a household where my mom prepares, because also here the matriarch and the patriarch duties are highly defined. And I realized this with Nairobi. In Nairobi, there is a lot of, omwenkano, we call it omwenkano. Between the women and the men, they're almost on the same level. So women can cook, men can take care of kids, women can take care of kids. In Uganda, there is a lot of, because we're more in African traditional society, the roles are really, really defined. So I grew up in a household where my mom, she wakes up quite early in the morning. She would wake up even, I think, around 5 to make sure she starts preparing breakfast. And the breakfast would not be even mugati, like how it is back in Nairobi. It would usually be matoke, katogo, maybe with offals. Offals are cow intestines. So there is a way how they cook them here. I didn't actually see them in Nairobi, Kenya. Let me know in the comments below in case they are there, but I didn't see them. So I grew up in such a household, and we didn't have a lot of the street kind of foods until when we were grown up a little bit much, older, and we are able to buy them for ourselves. But I think what we have here for us, it is Rolexes. And the period of time I did spend in Nairobi, we didn't have a Rolex. I didn't see anywhere where they were making a Rolex. Mind you, a Rolex, it's like fried eggs with chapati and tomatoes and things of a sort. Yeah. And they wrap it very well around and they serve it like that. They don't even put kachumbari. But I realized that a lot of street foods, especially when it comes to Nairobi, Kenya, you guys are served with kachumbari. And also they are served, like the variety is really, really so much. They have bajia, they have, it's a lot. We don't have a lot of that. We have chapatis and Rolexes and sumbusas, but we don't have a variety. Like, street foods in Nairobi are really so many. We have sausages and things of a sort, but they are not like hyped as street foods. My life abruptly went off because I clicked on a video. My life abruptly went on because I clicked on a video, but anyway, we are back. We are definitely back. So that is it, guys. I hope you guys are still on and still enjoying the video. Yeah, the next point I want to talk about, it is the spice levels. Now, initially, I think I got it by mistake that Ugandans, we spice a lot of food. The spices are as meaning. When you go back to all of my videos, the spices as meaning is this black pepper, coriander, reiko michuzi mix, all those things. We use a lot of those, which I did not realize back in Nairobi, Kenya. But in Nairobi, Kenya, regardless if they don't use a lot of those spices. Now, the chili is chilling. A lot of chili in Nairobi, believe it or not. I see 5 people in the chat. Please, when you come in live, like the live stream, the like button is somewhere there. It will really help us move forward. Yeah, but what I was trying to say is this, guys. In Nairobi, the chili is so much. We don't have a lot of chili. The spicing, when I talk about spicing, the spices are meaning is that chili wise. In Nairobi, they have a lot of chili, and they have the pepper. There's how they cut it, put it in kachumbari. You can go to a sumbusa stock where they sell sumbusas, and they will serve to you those sumbusas hot with that chili. They don't even have even an option. Some of them have, but the majority of them, for example, in pipeline, they didn't have options. But in Uganda, we don't do a lot of chili, but the spicing, spicy white, coriander, paprika, those Indian kind of spices. There's a way how they have penetrated the Ugandan kind of area, and a lot of people use them in their foods. Yeah. So the next thing I want to talk about, guys, it is now I think I've been able to talk about food pretty well. And in case you have any question, please don't hesitate, leave them for me in the comment section below, yeah, of this video. The next thing I want to talk about is language and slang. In Uganda, we speak Luganda. And it is not the national language, but it is the language that has penetrated most. Like how in Nairobi, you guys have Kikuyu, Luya, maybe Masai, and you find that the whole country knows Masai. It is the same thing here in Uganda. The whole country knows Luganda from left, right, and center, but it is not a national language. But in case you want things to be a little bit simpler for you, learn a few phrases, it will get easier for you. In Nairobi, Kenya, it is completely different for them as Swahili speakers, and also actually Uganda, we are supposed to speak Swahili, but I don't know how things are not working out very well. So little people know Swahili here, and it's very unfortunate because we're in the East African community and part of the strong countries that make up the East African community. So it's really, really embarrassing. So we should pull up our socks. I was watching Shifting News yesterday, 2 days ago, and Shifting News is also a content creator here on YouTube, and he showcases amazing spots in Nairobi and areas and developments. If you haven't subscribed to him, please go subscribe to him. But I was saying that I was watching his video, and they were vlogging their experience in Swahili, and I was just there like this, listening but not picking words, just listening a few words like nashukuru, like 40 bob, like kwa sababu, like a few words, and it was really embarrassing. And I was just commenting. I told him, I need to do better. I need to raise up my socks, do better, learn this language. It's an East African country language, East African community language, and I don't know it, and it's really embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. Yeah, but regardless, Uganda, Luganda, unfortunately, it should be Swahili, but it is Luganda. Luganda, it's a language spoken by the Baganda people, which is the largest group of people within Uganda, and they are located in the central bit of the country, where Kampala is and the Kingdom of Buganda is. Yeah, in Kenya, Swahili. Now, also let me speak about Sheng. In Nairobi, they have two types of Swahilis. There is Swahili Ningomu. There is a Swahili which is hard. That is a Swahili from the coast. Now, when you hear Renson speak, Renson is more of a Mombasa guy, coast guy. That guy speaks pure Swahili, like the Tanzanian Swahili. I can't get a word or two from their conversation. I can't. But there is also the Sheng one. It is hard, but at least not so hard like the Swahili Ningomu ya coast ya Kenya. I'm forging my Swahili around. But what I'm trying to say is this, guys. Two Swahilis, there is the Sheng where they mix Swahili and English. There you can pick just a little bit. But they have also the coastal one, which is really, really Ningomo. Really, really hard. That is really, really super hard. Yeah. But regardless, when you, between two countries, try to merge. Yeah? When you are here, try to speak. So if you are Kenyan, you come to Uganda, try to speak Swahili. Yeah, some people will understand you, but not all of them. But also English is widely used here, and people understand it pretty well. And we have a lot of, not a lot, but we have a lot of visitors also. They communicate to us in English, so it wouldn't be a surprise. But yeah, as East Africans, we should try to make sure that Swahili, we pull up our socks. Now let's talk about the vibe, and when it comes to the vibe in both countries, I would love to just describe the vibe in Kampala as being just slow paced, and now we are going back to the slow pace. The vibe in Kampala is just slow paced and more of a village social setting, things of a sort. In Nairobi, the vibe is not more of a village kind of, village kind of setting. No. Because of consumerism and a lot of Western world influence, things are on the go. Things are on the go. In case you can't move as fast as you can, people leave you behind. So the vibe in both cities, again, we go back to the first point we said. In Kampala, laid back. The vibe is chill, village-like, social, a lot of African traditional society, a lot of, things of a sort. In Nairobi, because of, a lot of influence from Oh, someone is asking Jotham, what is Uganda's national language? It is Swahili. It's unfortunate. It is Swahili. It is Swahili, but Luganda, Jotham. I don't know. The president of Uganda, the current president of Uganda, has really tried to make sure that they teach this language in school, but I don't know if it is just propaganda. I don't know. Like, people just refuse to learn Swahili in Uganda. People just refuse, and they're just after Luganda. I'm telling you the absolute truth. Like, for me, by the time I went to school, we have already, the president had tried to make sure that, by then we had a minister. She was called Minister of Education, Namirembe Bitamazire, and by then she really also tried, and you can also hear as a young child, they are trying to implement Swahili into schools, but the system is not allowing it, and they don't have enough Swahili teachers, and it was a lot. But the president, even up to today, the president of the Republic of Uganda, even up to today, he really, I just hope that by the time he leaves, by the time he leaves down, his dream comes true, because he says that also one of his dreams is to make sure that we also learn. We are like, we learn Swahili as a country and we can communicate. And he's a guy who in his early 20s went and stayed in Tanzania for 8 years. 8 years is a long time, a long time. Swahili should be mandatory in schools. Yeah, it should be, but unfortunately it is not, and I don't know why. It is, even up to today, it is optional in schools. Even up to today, I don't know what is the issue. I don't know what is the matter. But it is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. For me, I would have learned Swahili because I liked, maybe I was young and I was naive, and I would have learned the language. But from my early age, primary, secondary, O-levels, A-levels, there is no way I ever saw a Swahili teacher in my life. But unless otherwise, there is a Luganda teacher. So what should you say? There is a Luganda teacher, a teacher teaching Luganda. Swahili teacher is not there. So what should you do in simplicity? Just tell me, Jotham, what you would do with that. Yeah. The next point I want to talk about, guys, it is social warmth. And in social warmth, I also don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but Jotham is saying that in Kenya, some decades Swahili was optional but was made mandatory in 1985. Yeah, that is how it should be even in Uganda, because Uganda, we partially make a strong arm of the East African community. We're talking about the OGI, the OBs, the OGI of the East African community. Uganda, we should learn, but there is, in Luganda, we say there is Olukokola. There is somewhere, somehow, some people there are some people making it. I think you understand, Jotham. I don't want to go in details. You understand, but there are some people in those big offices that are, yeah. But otherwise, the next point I want to talk about it is the social warmth. Now, regardless of the fact that Kampalians are quite slow and all that, I believe that they are quite social and quite patient. I've interacted with a couple of people in Nairobi and they are not patient at all. Patience, they have thrown it back. They are quite impatient and also quite tempered. I don't know, because the world is moving so fast, so they are quite dictated to make sure that they also move on that pace. But Kampalians, they are laid back, do whatever you have to do. I was talking to a friend, she lives in Washington, D.C. I met her back in 2022. She's an amazing lady. She works in finance. We met through the internet. She came to the country, met her at a good restaurant. And I was just speaking to her randomly about a particular issue, and she told me, Tanya, I can't manage how slow you people are. I can't. The reason is, you make an appointment with a person, you tell them by 4 a.m. in the morning, you are setting off to go to Ginger to see whatever they are going to see, and this person turns out to come at 4 p.m. Unfortunately, and that is not the only example she gave me, and I know my people. As long as they are breathing, they are eating, don't stress them out with whatever you are doing. Unless you do whatever you want to do for yourself, don't even bother, But in Kenya, it is quite opposite, and I'll talk about punctuality and time maybe as time comes on. But in Kenya, people are quite impatient. I know Kenyans can know. People who have lived in Kenya, there is that pressure. Now in the morning, for example, you're taking a Matatu in the morning, people are crossing. You're like, oh good Lord. Yeah, in simplicity, guys, that is it. I want to talk about the dating life in Nairobi. Yeah, you know, I'm a guy who doesn't talk about usually dating and relationships and all that, because also growing up in Uganda, there is a way how we are groomed to keep certain things out of public, such as dating and African traditional society, you know. And I told you already, Uganda is one of those countries still encompassed by the African traditional society, and there is a way how we look at sex and relationships and dating and the matriarch and the patriarch roles and things of a sort. But regardless, today I want to talk about dating and nightlife. Let's start from dating. Now, I've interacted, robotic life. Yeah, Jotham is saying the right thing. It is robotic. Nairobi is robotic. Nairobi is robotic. Very, very robotic. Those people, how I wish, I don't know how long you have not been in Nairobi, Jotham, but I was there. Now, when I'm going to Nairobi, like when I'm going to CBD in the morning, for example, I'm from Paipu and I'm going to Nairobi, I first say a prayer. I'm this person who loves, first of all, breathe, do my meditation. I just cool myself because I know as long as I move out, people are going out of the gate, they are on a very high speed, they are crossing the road. It is, you know, conductors, they cross the road, they want to grab you into the road, enter you the car by force. Man, it is just robotic. It is just robotic. But the point is this, when it comes to dating and nightlife, I did realize that the nightlife in Nairobi, in Kampala we have the nightlife, but now I call back the statement I made. I think Nairobi has some crazy nightlife because of, you know, how diverse and having a lot of people coming from different places. The nightlife is quite tricky and quite shadowed by a lot of things. I don't want, I know if I can talk about them here or they will be, my live will be banned of video, but there is a lot of DRI Yugi in Nairobi, a lot of it, especially overshadowing the nightlife. There is a lot of PROTIS, I think you understand what I mean. I don't want to say them live, like because my live might be banned or anything like that. There is a lot of young PRO, like young people, young girls. Oh my good Lord. I was surprised. Very, very surprised. And I'm very still astonished. I don't know how God can create you and put you in a country with a lot of opportunities and you decide to use your life to the contrary. Oh my good Lord. How I wish these people know how much we hope and we wish we were born. Like myself, I was born there, or I was born at the border, or my parent or my brother was from there, you know. But their nightlife is quite crazy. In Uganda, the nightlife is good, but people are drinking, and I'm not saying in Kampala there are not those things, they are also there. But what I did see in Nairobi, especially when it gets night, it gets tricky, it gets evil. Believe it or not, it gets evil, it gets wild. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, but it's a difference coming from an African traditional kind of home and society where a lot of these things, our father used to guard us like we are puppies, not even puppies. You know, like guarding prisoners. That man to get out to go to the club, that man to see you talking around with girls or boys, that man to see you around, he will just ask you, are you married? If you are not married, he used to have a long stick in the corner of the house. So you eat your chiboko. We call them chiboko. Would hit you up, you know, because they are looking at a picture. You want to impregnate people's girls on the village. You want to get pregnant while you are still in school. So it is quite different. And it is, I want to just talk about it. The nightlife there, it is shadowed by a lot of different things. Thieves, smugglers, windows, like car traffic thieves, a lot of things. Young girls doing those DRUGs, boys. Man, it is crazy. It is crazy. Yeah. Now, that is where the nightlife differs in both. Yeah. Then when it comes to dating, at least the couple of experiences I've had with friends I've been around, and, you know, we talked through relationships and being on the internet and seeing videos and TikTok. People, relationships there are transactional. Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. Relationships there are transactional. They don't stand on basis. Okay, some of them, but most of them, especially for young people and the experiences I've seen and I've had, people expect you to give them something, especially something much to sustain them, than seeing the broader picture of sharing a relationship where both of you are going to contribute. correct me in the comment section below. I don't want to waste a lot of time on this point because I'm not the right person to talk about them. And that's why even I'm talking slowly. But I wanted to just say, relationships, they are transactional. Girls want a lot of money from boys. Boys also want a particular kind of contribution from the ladies. It is that society where, as I told you, equate. And remember, African traditional society, we don't have a figure. You are supposed to be the main provider of the home. But these relationships, most of them I've seen and heard of in Nairobi. The woman, the lady, the guy. If you are from Kenya, people there want money. People there want money and a lot of money. Yeah. The next point I want to talk about. Let me just get some water. I almost spilled myself. By the way, when you come into the live stream, don't forget to like the live stream. It really does help. I got this bottle from Garden City. I'm giving an advert for people from Garden City. Yeah. So the next point I want to talk about, guys, it is about money. Yeah, let's talk about money. Let's talk about banking and all those different things. Let's start from banking and tech. In Kenya, in Uganda, generally, we just have mobile money, and I talked about this already. Airtel, MTN, that's what we usually use. Airtel, MTN mobile money. In Kenya, it's completely different. It is M-Pesa, that is no longer non-news. M-Pesa starting from 10 shillings and above. M-Pesa, when you're traveling to Uganda, your Airtel line from Kenya will not work here. So when you come here, you'll have to get an Airtel Ugandan line and MTN Ugandan line. When you're traveling to Kenya, make sure you get a Safaricom line. It will really do help you a lot. And wherever you are traveling from on all those other countries, when you're traveling to Kenya, make sure that you buy a Safaricom line. I did buy mine after 3-4 weeks, activated it, and I was able to, do my transactions normally as I would usually do them. It took me a lot of time to learn, and this is now the thing I want people to learn, especially if this is the first time you're traveling to Nairobi. It will be hard at first to learn how to do those transactions. *233# *100# *355#. It is hard. I used to have my book, and I would just go in and write those things down to make sure I remember them. It is quite hard, but with time you get to learn them. Then also someone told me that, Tanya, maybe you had not downloaded the application. Now I tried to download the application, but my iPhone wouldn't allow me to download the application, the M-Pesa application. So the only option I was left with is to make sure that I just do the transactions. Just pressing *100#, then go to buy, like biashara, poshi biashara. It would confuse me when I'm paying things at the Naivas or Quickmart. I would reach there, the codes are refusing, people are mad at me. You remember that they are quite impatient. Man, that was also a disaster. But I went through it. The next time I think I'll just use this phone. I'll have my M-Pesa line in this phone, because this phone can allow to download the M-Pesa. So I think I'll just have my line in this line so that I can easily be able to do the M-Pesa kind of transactions easily. Yeah. The next thing I want to talk about, guys, it is cost of living. I talked about this in detail the last video, but I would just want to say that in Kampala, the cost of living is quite affordable based on where you are, the portion of Kampala you are in. But in Nairobi, as one of the most top cities within Africa right now, the cost of living is high compared also where you are. So just get ready. I did a video already about this. I'll leave it maybe linked in the description box below. And I don't want to talk it out like how I did go in details with it the last time. Yeah. Now, when it comes to retail and amenities, I would love to just say that Nairobi, for this point, it really does win. Nairobi, for this point, it wins a lot and a lot and a lot and a lot and a lot. Nairobi has very many brands of almost everything. A lot of retail shops, a lot of new things. Like if you are Kapere means someone who has not seen anything at all. You are from the village. If you are Kapere traveling from Kampala and you go to Nairobi, oh God, you're going to be stunned. You're going to be surprised, like how I was. You're going to be stunned. You're going to be surprised. It's going to be just a lot of surprise. So that is how life is, especially if you are coming from Kampala. They have a lot of brands, a lot of amenities, like shopping malls. Guys, health-wise, kids, like play kind of areas. It is literally a lot. a lot and a lot. In Kampala, we don't have a lot of those different things. I did realize also that in Nairobi, actually, they have a couple of American and European branded shops and things of a sort. In Kampala, we don't have a lot of American and European branded kind of shops. Yeah. The next thing I want to talk about, guys, it is safety. I talked about safety too, but allow me to just peruse through it as quickly as I can. Now, when it comes to personal safety, I would regard Kampala to be generally safe. In Kampala, you are generally safe when it comes to personal safety. Not 100% safe, but at least generally safe. But compared to Nairobi, the safety there, it is not. You have to be on your toes always, and I've shared about this already. You have to be at your toes already, always. You are advised all the time to make sure that you are on your guard for people behind you, in front of you, on the side of you. Make sure you're not on your phone. Like, that is the situation in Nairobi. The personal safety, you need to really upscale it a little bit compared to in Kampala. In Kampala, not so much. The insecurities are there, petty thefts are there, but it is not as much as the pressure you feel, especially when you are in Nairobi. When they try to snatch my phone, if you missed that video, they tried to snatch this phone, the iPhone 13 Pro. Oh God, that was a disaster. I got post-traumatic stress disorder. I went to Upper Hill police station, opened up a case. My mind was off. I was dizzy. I was not picking at all. So petty theft in both countries, it is there, but generally when it comes to personal safety, I think in Kampala it's much more safer. In Nairobi, you're always on your tiptoes. There is a season where the CBD was not safe and people were making a lot of videos, and it was scaring a lot of Ugandans and myself too and other foreigners, that people are moving out with feces and with knives and a lot of different things. That was really very, very horrible. So that just lives in a ditch. Yeah, it just lives in that worry amongst people. When it comes to the general kind of security, I would say generally also our security in Kampala is generally okay, very good. Because if you don't know, within East Africa, all East African countries suffered, especially when it comes to independence and getting our independence, and people who lost their lives in Kenya, in Uganda, Mau Mau. A lot had happened. I don't want to go into history, but I would love to just say that our constitution really allows our UPDF to be part of the security kind of scheme, which leaves a lot of Ugandans safe compared to, and I'm not saying this like in a bad comparison, but according to Nairobi, I just feel like in Nairobi, their constitution, the 2010, and don't take this in bad faith, I've read your 2010 constitution word by word, article by word article, but I just feel like your constitution limits, especially like UPDF, the Kenya Defense Forces to interact to be able to control certain things. A lot of the Kenya Defense Forces were involved, but unfortunately they are not. Fortunately they are not, But regardless, in Kampala, you just like security is generally okay because our UPDF, they are amongst people, some of them are, and people fear them. People fear army officers in Uganda. Oh Lord, they fear army officers than even they fear police, because the training they get. In Nairobi, I just feel like the security is also good and well, but because of the population, so there is a lot of petty theft, there is a lot of organized crime, as we shall maybe talk about it later on, and things of a sort. Yeah. The next thing I want to talk about, which is actually linked to that, it has to be car traffic safety. Theft is a very huge risk, I think, both in both countries, both in Kampala and both in Nairobi. But I would love to just say again, in Kampala, it happens. But at the rate at which I've seen in Nairobi happening, where people just bombard, traffic jam, they smash windows, they steal people's things, they use force, all these CCTV cameras recording these, they call them goons, goons. It is very, very unfortunate. So car theft in both car kind of theft in both countries, it happens. But I just feel like in Nairobi, because of the population and because of the fast-paced world, it influences a lot of youth just going to goonism and behaving literally to the contrary. But for both ways, just make sure that you are, safe. Make sure that when you are in public transportation, don't be on your phone. When you are in even an Uber or you are driving your own car, you keep valuables away. You can put them down there. Cars usually have those small areas where you can pack in your things. Don't put them on display. Make sure that your windows are raised up. Things like that. They can really do help in both countries, not only in Uganda, but also in Kenya. Yeah. The next point I want to talk about, guys, it is religion and cultural identity. So while I was in Nairobi, Kenya, I just think that Nairobians don't showcase a lot kind of aspect, maybe because of the consumerism, especially from the Western world and education and all that. Okay, I've been to a couple of your Catholic churches. I've seen mosques. I've seen born again Christian churches. I've seen all that, but I just feel like it is not displayed a lot when it comes to conversation, day-to-day activities compared to Uganda. Ugandans usually like they showcase. They want to make sure that you know they are Christians and God is saying this and God is saying that, and you should do like this and you should do like that. I just feel like while I was in Nairobi, it wasn't really bombarded a lot and fueled a lot compared to here in Kampala, Uganda. Yeah, that is also another huge difference I did realize. Yes. The other one, it's all about the cultural identity and patriotism. I just feel like, regardless of the fact that Uganda is one of those places, or within the East African community, where there is a lot of culture and heritage identity when it comes to culture and behavior and customs and norms, things like that, we miss a lot of patriotism, especially when it comes to the country as a large, which is completely different when it comes to Nairobi, Kenya. Regardless of the fact that Nairobi, the culture is there, but it is not also as displayed a lot. Maybe it's maybe displayed at different functions. Maybe display, for example, when late Lyra Odinga did pass on, a lot of culture was displayed, and it actually gave a new picture of Kenya. It gave a new picture of heritage when it comes to Nairobi, when it comes to Kenya, and things like that. But patriotism wise, culture wise, it is not so much displayed. Patriotism wise, you guys are very patriotic. Oh my good lord. Oh my good lord. Talk about Kenya and Kenyans will show up. Talk about Kenya, they'll show up and listen. They wait. Talk something ill about their country, which is completely different in Uganda. In Uganda, people don't give a damn. They are just tired. They just want their matoke, eat, rest, educate their kids. Things like that. Sleep, work tomorrow, wake up. That's the life in Kampala, Uganda. Patriotism is not so big, but culture, identity in Kampala, Uganda. Yeah. And also, I would love to just say that Kenyans just have a big heart, or a very big national pride, kind of. Yeah, and that's why I also love Kenya. They love their country. That is more patriotism, but they have that pride of their country. They wear these bands, they wear the t-shirts, they show up for their country. It is just amazing. It is really amazing. Yeah. I want to talk about customer service, guys, because I think that in both countries, I did realize that there was also quite a difference. Customer service wise, I just think that both places offer something basing on the level they are on in this current era we are in. In Kampala, the customer service is good, but basically it usually relates or rotates around relationship. Do I know you? Do you know me? The way how you are going to treat a person in case you are buying from them or doing a transaction from them. But I did realize that in Nairobi, it's more of a professional kind of thing. Customer service in Nairobi, they take it seriously. Yeah, it is actually taken very seriously. It is another level of how you should behave when you are doing a transaction, how you should handle yourself, how things should be done, how feedback should be taken, how things should be done, which is completely different in Kampala, Uganda. I would just start to say that in Nairobi, it's more of standardized. Like there is a standard that people follow, relationship-wise, based on person. Do I know you? Do we vibe? Have I met you in the past? How have you treated me? I'll treat you like that as customer service. But in Nairobi, standard and also making sure that things are done according to the profession. Yeah. The next thing I want to talk about, guys, it is punctuality. I've talked about punctuality in the past, and some people told me, "Oh, Tanya, you don't know Nairobians. Nairobians are also late." But if Nairobians are Kampalians, we are later. It's just of the recent years that I've also tried to pull up my socks and make sure that I pull up myself and really understand that time is money. In case I tell you that we are meeting at 10, I mean at 10. I'll show up before even 5 minutes before 10. In case I tell you we're meeting at 1, I'll show up at least, before 1. But generally, Uganda time management is poor. In case Nairobi it is poor, in Uganda it is poorer. In simplicity, it is really very bad, very bad. And the reason why I'm saying so is that I've lived in both places, and I can really, really vibe, I can see. At least in Uganda, when you say that you are meeting, or you are supposed to be somewhere with someone around maybe 5 in the evening, PM, they'll show up maybe at 7, 8 in the night. But at least in Nairobi, they try at least to be 30 minutes. Yeah, at least to be 30 minutes late, or they try to be at least 45 minutes late. In Kampala, someone can even call you and tell you, know what, I'm in an accident, and they're lying to you. They're not even close to where you are. Yeah. The next point I want to talk about, guys, it has to be media and comedy. But I'll not talk about comedy because I know a lot of things about comedy. But I just wanted to say about it because I've been following a couple of comedians from Nairobi. But it's just a new interest I'm falling into. So I don't want to add in a lot of my information on it. Maybe after I've gained a lot of experience on comedy. Been seeing Oga Obina. I've been seeing like a couple of them, If you are Kenyan, But media-wise, I just think that media in Kenya, it is completely free. I just feel like freedom, they can be anywhere, get any news, report about anything. I know it has not been like this for a very long time. It has come with a new constitution and new governance and all that. But it just feels a little bit freer. There's sometimes I'm seeing Kenyan news and I'm like, oh God, who reported this news? If you in Kampala, oh my good Lord, you don't know what will happen to you. So I just feel like media is Nairobi, their media when it comes to reporting and all that, it is quite out there. But in Uganda, it is quite the opposite. In Uganda, people tend to, especially people working in media, even social media itself, and media meaning TV, radio, things of a sort. In Uganda, you don't just report about anything. You don't just come out of the blue and talk about people's wealth, talk about people's whatever the case may be. You don't. You don't know where you will sleep and where your family is. So the reason why even I'm like this, you see the pace has changed, is that I want to give it a lot of water because I don't know who's watching these videos. But regardless, if you know, you know. In Nairobi, I just feel like their media is quite free. They report about almost everything. They criticize everything that needs to be criticized. Positive criticism, obviously, and some negative criticism so that you can check yourself, especially politicians and businessmen and media personalities. In Uganda, it's completely different. I'll just leave it at that. I'll not give it a lot of water. Yeah. We are almost actually at the end of the video. I want to thank each and every person who has been around for almost now 2 hours. That's amazing. Thank you for standing in with me. Yeah, but we're almost finishing. The next thing I want to talk about, guys, is educational philosophy. And the reason why we want to talk about educational philosophy is this. Nairobi, their curriculum right now, it's more based on, it is called a CBC, competency-based curriculum. I had to write that down so that I can read it out for you guys. And it focuses more on practical skills, critical thinking, and hands-on application. In Kampala, Uganda, it's completely different. We still use the older kind of curriculum where it's based more on cramming, getting a degree, going to school, A level, O level, go to school, get a degree, go to practice whatever you have studied. In Nairobi, because they are more on a competency-based curriculum, students there tend to be quite innovative. They tend to go out of their box, tend to do more, tend to problem solvers, especially in their communities. They come up with ideas when it comes to businesses because of the competence-based curriculum they have. And also, I understand now that it is quite new. It hasn't even made, I think, 5 years yet. But in Kampala, we still use the old curriculum. So I'm not saying this to degrade our Ugandan system, but I'm just saying that that is absolute truth. You'll also find out that in Uganda, there are very many people who have gone to school, very many people, and they have degrees and diplomas and whatever they have, but very few people have gone to schools, especially vocational institutions, to get skills that they can use to even build better wealth than people who have actually gone to school and attained degrees and whatever the case may be. Someone is saying urban lover. Hello urban lovers. Thank you for joining the live stream. When you come in, please like the live stream. It really does help. The like button is somewhere here or there. I'm not certain. Yeah, but that is it, guys, based on both kind of areas. And the next point was the higher education bit of it, which I've also talked about. Uganda, it's the only place you find that a lot of people have degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, all that, but they are not doing whatever they studied. They end up doing other things skill-wise, like maybe They end up maybe in beauty, they end up in tailoring, they end up in fashion, they end up in technical issues. And yet, school, it is dictated that you have to attain a degree. Like, this is even the reason why my father wants me to go back to school. Because they grew up in that generation where they know that going to school, you secure the future. And it's absolutely true. I'm not rejecting it. But when you look at people who have gone to school, especially around my place here in Uganda, around Uganda generally, and people who have gone and attained, and people who have gone and attained a vocational institute kind of diplomas in electricity, in plumbing, in bakery, in cheffery, is it a word? In being chefs, things like that, they really, really have attained a very good life compared to people who have just been in one direction like this, attaining a degree, attaining a diploma, things like that. Someone just commented, people around the Lake Victoria region are very bright. Oh, very, very true. Talk about that, urban lover. Talk about that. Absolutely, very, very true. I went to, but also I think the reason why people tend to be very bright, there is a lot of cramming. Here they said it is theory, it is theory based in simplicity. Theory based. Someone just crams whatever they have to cram in their mind. They go for that paper, they get 100. They get a distinction without even, 2 months down the road, they didn't even explain to you the things they have just answered in the exams, and they got a distinction. So that is also another thing. There is a lot of cramming, theory-based cramming. You just do theory to attain the paper, pass the paper, move out of school, but you literally know nothing. In Nairobi, I did realize that you guys have very many vocational and technical institutions, and that has also prompted a lot of youth in Kenya to be job creators than job seekers. I'm not saying in Nairobi there aren't job seekers, they are there, but I think compared to the numbers we have in Uganda, there are a lot of job seekers in Uganda. My good Lord, very many job seekers here, very many, because of our curriculum. It doesn't concentrate more on competency based. It concentrates more on theory. You have to do this, go to school, get an English, mathematics, physics, in case you can't even manage them, just study them, cram them, pass O level, go to A level, pass them, go to university, Makerere, Victoria University, learn and get a degree. In Kenya, they are doing the opposite. What can a child be able to manage? Is it sciences? Is it arts? How can they incorporate technical services? Is it tailoring? Is it baking? Is it like self-expression and things of a sort? It is completely different in Kenya compared to here in Uganda. Yeah, the next thing I want to talk about, guys, it is the conversation culture. And someone just told me the other day that, Tanya, you have become a Nairobian. Hey, Tanya, you have become a Nairobian because of the way how you talk. And the reason why I'm saying so is this. Kenyans, correct me if I'm wrong, but conversation-wise, you guys are direct. Oh, good Lord. You are direct, and you want to make sure your point reaches home. Hey, you are very direct and very blunt. Unstoppable. Compora. Unstoppable. You guys are very blunt compared to Ugandans. Ugandans, we are not as blunt. We call it okwe. Let me see. We call it okwekiriranya in Luganda. In Uganda, twekiriranya. Even though I want to tell you that your shirt is dirty, I'm not going to tell you that your shirt is dirty, because I'm now considering you will feel very bad. You'll have to go back home, get off the shirt, what? So I'll have to get ways of making sure I tell you, oh, you know what, Mark, your shirt, let me cover you up. Such things. That is called okwekiriranya. In Uganda, there is a lot of okwekiriranya. In Nairobi, my friend, directness. You're going to be told firsthand, where your shirt ni dirty. Your shirt is very dirty. Go change it. It makes you feel somehow, or for whatever the case may be, but they have told you. That is how blunt and direct. And most of the time, you can think it is quite argumentative. Initially, I thought that they're actually arguing, because most of the time, Kenyans would be talking, but they're actually talking like they are arguing about something. Until when I came to know that these guys are just, having a casual conversation. So in case you're the first time hearing them converse or talking, you can think that they're arguing, It is very argumentative. It is very direct. and they don't preserve a lot of your feelings, they don't. And I did realize that there are a lot of people who say no in Kenya in case they're not going to marry. No, not Tanya, no, 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 no. It's a good thing to practice because they have been empowered with the virtue of courage. In Uganda, we don't have that virtue, courage. It is something that we are still instilling in our kids. And oh God, saying our kids, it means that I have also, but it is something that we are still instilling in the current kind of generation coming up, courage. Because courage gives you the guts to be able to not or to be direct and to be direct in a good way. I'm not meaning that every time you should be direct, but most of the time I think it's better to be direct so that you don't beat around the bush. Let the person know whatever they have to know in that instance. In Kenya, for them, they are direct. Take it or leave it. And what you may expect, especially if it's your first time traveling to Nairobi, you might misinterpret it like myself. I used to think that these people are arguing, arguing about something, and it is heated up. No, no, they are not. They are having a casual conversation, but they are blasting themselves out with facts. Fact. It is not like us who say, oh, hey, okay, we are supposed to go, but our boss is not okay, but we can leave them, but we shall not talk to them. No, they are feelings. How will they feel? No, for those people, they don't have time for your feelings at all. Yeah. And the last thing, or the second last thing I want to talk about, we are almost done, guys, but the second last thing I want to talk about is the political disclosure. In Uganda, we don't have a lot of political disclosure. And I've talked about this when it came to media. For us, we don't talk about politics as open as it is in Nairobi, Kenya. Nairobians just talk about politics like it is ugali and sumaki and mboga. They just talk about occasion. It's a normal thing to talk about. It is quite very normal. And I've seen them in Matatus, in public places talking about politics. But growing up in Kampala, Uganda, my father always told me, never talk about politics when you are outside your bedroom. Even in the bedroom, you should talk about it like whispering. In case you're talking to someone, whispering. That is how it is diabolical to talk about politics in Kampala. People talk about it right now because of the current kind of president. We have a very good president, I believe, because of the president we have right now and how regimes have changed, especially from Obote and Amin. So people are always on social media talking about politics freely. And also they talk about politics, but not there is an extent. You don't have to, So you shoot, but don't overshoot in simplicity. But regardless, people talk about it on radios and TVs, but they have a limit. But I've seen Kenyans blasting their governance, I'll just say that, blasting their governance in public, on social media, things that I think would be very, very diabolical and would call for Uganda police, defense forces to come at your home and take the whole of your family. And they hide you somewhere. But in Kenya, people just talk about them occasionally, like a normal thing, a very, very normal thing. And yeah, it is something that is quite different. And maybe the other thing linked to this before I end the video is we have only one point to end the video. It is about tribalism and ethnicity. I did realize that in Nairobi, Kenya, tribalism and ethnicity is really something put at the forefront of almost everything. And it is bad. I don't like it. I really don't. I just like my people. We are all East Africans, Bantu, Nilotics. We are all East Africans, and we are all people at the end of the day. Wherever you are coming from, we are all people. We are all people. But tribalism, it's a big issue in Kenya. You might be denied a particular job from the articles I did read because of your tribe. You might be denied a particular service or denied a particular entry to somewhere because of your tribe. So that is really very, very unfortunate, and it is very, very openly discussed, and people just talk about occasionally like it's a normal thing. Now, mind you, in Uganda, I would say tribalism is there, but it is not practiced. It is not something that is practiced like on a day-to-day basis. No. I've worked in government hospitals. I worked in Mulago National Referral Hospital. I've worked in Butabika National Referral Psychiatric Hospital. That is during my placement. I worked in Rubaga Private Hospital. I've worked in what else? Kisenyi Hospital. Now I'm giving you from that view because now there would see that the segregation and tribalism would be so much. But it is something that is mentioned, but you will never find it on ground. You find me, I'll help a Westerner like I'm helping my own. You find me, I'll help a Northerner like how I'm helping my own. You find me, I'll help an Easterner like how I'm helping my own. You find me, I'll help a Central person as I would be helping my own. So it is something that is present, but not something practiced in Kampala, Uganda. But in Kenya, ho, 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 ho. Hot, hot soup. You see it on the internet. We are in the death of the late Lyra Odinga. Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord. It was bad. It was bad. Bad, 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 bad. Bad, 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 bad. Yeah. That brings me to the end of the live stream. I'm so glad that these two people have been through the live stream for almost 2 hours. That's amazing. You guys, you are amazing. You should have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea for me. No, cup of cappuccino for me because you are amazing. You are amazing. You know, you make my life more amazing. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. These two people who have been in the live stream, another person has joined. But we're almost at the end of the video. We have been live for almost 2 hours. Yeah. But the last point I want to talk about, guys, it has to be the tipping culture. I've talked about this already. Yeah, I talked about this already, but maybe in details. Because Kenya is more of a cosmopolitan area with a lot of people from all over the world, and there is a lot of Western influence, and there is a lot of, whatever is going on in Kenya. There is a lot, the tipping is there, the tipping culture is there, but especially within the city kind of center, CBD malls, rich neighborhoods, because of, the Western kind of influence. But when you go this side, especially outside, like the metropolitan area of Nairobi, there isn't a lot of tipping. Tipping is not a thing. But reflecting the same thing here in Kampala, Uganda, I would just say that Kampalians have actually adopted the system of tipping a lot. They have really, really adapted the system of tipping a lot, that regardless of the fact that you have found this person or the person who has given you services within the city center of Kampala, or he is actually outside the metropolitan, within the metropolitan area of Kampala, people usually tip. Yeah, it is something that I was really surprised that Nairobians don't do, especially in the metropolitan area of Nairobi. In Kampala, it's something that is growing day in and day out. People tip even bus drivers and conductors and people who sell maize by the roadside, mahindi choma, people who in hospitals. I've worked in hospitals. I told you the mother who I helped give birth on Sunday, she gave me 90 bob Kenyan shillings. That is approximately 2,000 Ugandan shillings. That is very little money, but you can see that she really, really wanted to tip me because she also had to pay the bill of the medical center and all that. But yeah, generally, the tipping culture in Nairobi, it is there, but in the city areas, but in the metropolitan area, it is really, really not there compared to Kampala, Uganda. Yeah, so I'm so happy that we come to the end of the live stream. Maybe in the summary, what I would love to just say to summarize up the live stream, I've talked about a lot of points over time. Maybe to just summarize up the live stream, I would love to just say that Nairobi, as Jotham said, it is a more robotic kind of life. Yeah, you have to be ready to survive and thrive. I was telling a friend last time that, you know what, Nairobi would be amazing in case you have a lot of money and you're not going to worry about, like for me, I would love to just, work and do all that. But like having enough financial kind of freedom to help you do whatever you have to do in a particular period of time, it can really be very, very helpful to you. Yeah. So that you don't stress yourself out a lot when it comes to attaining things. I think you know what I mean. But having that financial kind of realm, it can really help you a lot, believe it or not. Yeah. But regardless, yeah, that is Nairobi for you. Quite chaotic, aggressive, go, 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 compared to Kampala. Kampala, quite less laid down. There isn't a lot of pressure to achieve, to do this, to do that. It isn't like that. And my greatest prayer is that each one of us, especially people who have been on the live stream, can get a chance once to be able to come experience life here and also life there. Yeah, I've not talked about parks today, but okay, let me talk about parks because I don't think I'll do another video soon about culture shocks. But I would love to just say that this is the last one. Nairobi has very many parks, like leisure parks, Uhuru parks, and Uhuru Park. There is also the Green Park. The Green Park. There is also there are a couple of parks. For Nairobians. What am I saying? They have a couple of parks where people can go chill compared to us back here in Kampala, Uganda. In Kampala, Uganda, you have a couple of parks, but they are really not, yeah, they're really not deserving. So it is a very huge difference amid these both countries. And maybe because of the population and also the Nairobi City County government, they have really tried very much to see that they invest a lot of time in those parks compared to our parks back here in Kampala, Uganda. Yeah. Parks in Uganda are also quite smaller compared to the parks in Nairobi, Kenya, believe it or not. Yeah. That brings me to the end of the live stream. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Let me meet you in tomorrow's video. Tanya and Shylock switching out. Bye for now. Yeah.